Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a special thanks to my son who has rebuilt my PC with proper fans so it shouldn't go fut again. And that means I'm not on the laptop anymore, and hopefully you get a slightly better quality to the video, certainly in terms of sound, I think. Anyway, that's one good thing. Next good thing is that it's Panthera's birthday, and Panthera has asked not for us to do a puzzle by her, but by her collaborator, the Asylum, who has featured all too infrequently on the channel, but has been a major contributor to the PBN Patreon packs that we've had, and is a specialist in the Japanese sum style of puzzle, which we will be attempting today. This puzzle by the Asylum is called Power Up. I'm wondering, wasn't the puzzle by Panthera that had the symbol for turning on power that I completely failed to recognize, to utter embarrassment? I don't know. I doubt that we're going to get the same symbol, but you never know. I will go through the rules in a minute. They are reasonably complicated in some ways in Japanese sums, but it's a great genre if you can get into it. So do stay on for the rules. I'm just very quickly going to mention, obviously, happy birthday, Panthera, but also check out Patreon, where you can try all the fun of the fair. Our four to 5 part carnival excursion, and loads of correct answers still coming in. There's 4 days left to enter it. Well done if you've done that already. And you can watch Simon's roller coaster Nurikabe solve there, over 2.5 hours of brain melting fun. Oh, I loved that video yesterday. The puzzle by Chameleon with decimal places in it, and barely. I suppose they're not irrational numbers, but they were, wow, that was amazing. A Sudoku grid being used to feature root 73 numbers. It was mind-blowing. Absolutely one of the most memorable puzzles ever. Do check that out if you haven't seen Simon's video from yesterday, a 6x6 puzzle. Anyway, brilliant. Now, what else we got? I've mentioned Patreon. Later in the week there will be my crossword solve for the month. That'll be going up in Patreon. And tomorrow, actually, we will be finally bringing you Demono's videos, walkthrough videos of the solves of Solver in Sudoku Land. Somewhat delayed. Demono got quite ill, I'm afraid, but has recovered now. And I had the delays with my computer as well, but we will be finally bringing you those videos tomorrow. If you got stuck on anything in Solver in Sudoku Land. That's all Patreon. There's also the apps and our merchandise and Sven SUDOKU PAD. Check the links under the video. No Japanese sums app yet, maybe one day. But in the meantime, we will look at this puzzle, in which normal Sudoku rules apply. So in the 9x9 grid, we'll be putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Normal Japanese sums rules apply, but we'll explain those. Colours used in this puzzle are black and red. And in the original version of the puzzle, these cells outside the grid are black and red, but we've gone for a grey and a red version. There are capital letters in the Asylum's version in case anybody is colourblind enough not to be able to distinguish between red and grey, and I will post a link to that version under this video. So if you can't distinguish these colours, go to that one. Even if it's probably not needed in this case, said the Asylum, I'm doing it out of habit. For best results, remove all unshaded marking you've done once complete, and I will be using grey and then replacing it with black. Black is quite a difficult colour to solve in, but black and red are the colours. Now, here come the rules finally. The squares outside the grid indicate the order of the contiguous runs of cells found in that row or column that must be shaded the colour of the clue. I'll explain this in a moment. The number inside the clue gives the sum of the cells in the run. There must be at least one unshaded cell between runs of the same colour, but there's no need between runs of differing colours. All runs are given. So in this column, which has clues of grey, of black, well, shall I call it grey? Let's call it grey. Grey 9, red 10, grey 7 and grey 3. So down the column, there will be a run of grey digits adding up to 9. It could be just one digit, but it could be more. Then there will be a run of red digits adding up to 10. That couldn't be just one. Then a run of grey digits adding up to 7. Then there must be a run of unshaded digits before a run of grey digits adding up to 3. And if you do the maths, you will see that there must be 16 in unshaded cells in this column. But the numbers will add up to the numbers of the digits in the grid will add up to the runs needed, as long as we get the colouring right. So that's how this works. There will be unshaded cells in the grid, clearly, but those are the rules. Give it a go and see if you can power up with the asylum. Let's get cracking. Okay, so this is the area of the grid that can have red cells in it. And I know that because the only red clues in the columns are in these columns, and the only red clues in the rows are in these rows. Now, within that, we've got 20, 5 and 7 in row 4. I think those are going to have to be red because the 20 clue is going to be at least 3 cells. Then you've got red, a gap, then red 5, so that's going to be a single 5, then a gap, then red 7. And flanking those, we have a couple of grey cells, which are going to be 4 and 6. And that is a helpful clue to start us. Now in the row above, we've got 30 in red. In the row below 6 and 4, we've got a 22 clue down, 23 down column 3. Well, 23 and 22 have to be at least 2 cells, and these are the only 4 rows available. So I can fill in those. Now, the 30 clue is at least 4 cells, and it comes after a grey clue of at least 1. So it must go to here. And this column has only a single red clue of 2. So that must be a 2. It can't be 1, 1, clearly. So that's the only red in this column. Now I'm going to use a colour like green, maybe yellow, to do unshaded cells. And I know these two. No, I don't. I know that one is unshaded because it came between 2 reds. I thought this would be unshaded because of the 6-4, but that's not absolutely mandatory. Anyway, we got this 2. Could that be grey 4? I don't know. This 5 is part of a 10 sum. This 7 is part of a 10 sum. I don't know quite how to do this. Oh, this grey row is 40. That's got to be at least 8 cells, hasn't it? No, at least 7 cells. So the central 5 are all grey there. And then this 13 is the grey clue that comes below the red. So that's at least 2 cells big. I mean, I could guess at symmetry and a general shape of the picture, but I think that's cheating. Oh, 16 here. Right. That is not going to reach to the bottom row. So that's yellow. 23 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be 21. Yeah, that could reach to the bottom row. This can't be red because we've got red 10 in this column, and that yellow cell fixes where that red 10 goes. Right, there's only one red in row 3, so that's gone red. This is a low digit because of that 10 sum, so 1, 3 or 4 there. And that doesn't complete, obviously, the 10 sum, so it needs another cell somewhere. Now, that's not grey. I think I know for sure that it's not red, that it's not... sorry, I know that it's not red from the column. I don't know that it's not grey, but I think I know for sure that it's not grey from the row, because we've got to fit a 7 and a 6 into this row. And if this was grey, then the reds are both coming after it, and there isn't room for another grey. So that is yellow. This is part of the 6 clue that is followed by a grey 9 clue. And therefore the 7 clue is on this side, the red 7 clue. And, oh no, I was beginning to wonder about the maximum of these cells. Now those two definitely add up to 10. That could be a 6 with a 4 there. Oh, this row has a grey 7 and a grey 8. Oh, and it adds up to 45. There's the big clue. So everything is coloured in this row. That one is grey. That one is grey. These two are grey or red. One of them has to be red because 5 cells... Oh no, 5, no, not necessarily. 5 cells might be enough for 30, even including a 2 and a 3 or a 4. Now that is... no, I don't know that that's a single 7 because this could be grey. That is a grey 4, since we got that to be yellow. That is in the 28 sum, which... 9, 18, 25, 29, which can't be fulfilled by these clues. 4, 3, 5 and 4 only add up to 16. So we'd need another... oh, but it could include something from there. Oh, bother. 6 clue and a gap and a 7 clue. This is in a 22 clue, which is at least 3 cells, so that's grey. It could be in the 7 clue in the row, so I'm not sure what to do with that. 4, 2, 6. I mean, once we get going on this, it's going to be quite quick, I think, but could take a while to get going. Now, could that be red? It would have to be a 2 with a 1 there and a 7 there. It is possible. I can't rule it out. 23 in red uses... ah, that's interesting. I was going to say these two must add up to at least 13, at least 16, whether it used 7 there or 6 there, but it might use them both. That's weird. I just don't know quite how to keep going. Right, this column. There's 5 in grey somewhere up here, 22 in red somewhere here, then 3 in grey, then a space, then 8 in grey. So the space is either there. This can't be the 8 in grey because you couldn't put 3 above it. So this is part of the 3. It's either 1, 2 or 3. This is part of a 6 clue. So that is 1, 3, 5 or 6. This is part of a 7 clue. So also not enormous. 1, 2, and I'm going to fill in all those candidates, even 7. And now the maximum these can add up to is 16. So we've got another 24 in grey, which is going to be at least 3 cells. But I don't know where. This is part of a 3 clue. This is part of a 6. There's a 9 up here. Could that be a... Yeah, this can't be grey, can it? There's no way this cell can be grey. Because although there is grey before a 7, that would still have to have room for the 6 and the 9 after it. So that's not grey. So that 9 clue grey is right here, because that's part of the 7 clue, and then there's a 3 clue below it. Okay, this is a single grey 9. That is a single grey 7. That's even easier to see above the red. Okay, now we've got something. That's adding up to 20. We've got a maximum of 8 more, which could be 5 there and 3 there. But it could be smaller numbers there. But 8 more can't take you beyond there. So that cell is unshaded, is yellow. This is a maximum 4 and this is a maximum 7. That would only get us up to 15, even if those digits were allowed. So that's grey and is part of a 5 sum. Might be the whole of a 5 sum. Does this have to be grey? What have we got in the top row? 20. Not so sure. These two add up to 10, and now we know they don't have a 7 in. Still 3 pairs that will fulfill that potential destiny. That's probably yellow. Could have 6 red, 4 red, and 9 grey there, so maybe not, or any grey digit there. 13. This is in a 13 sum. There's an 18 sum at the bottom. Could be just 873 there. This is low. Now, it includes all those 3 cells. The maximum length of the 16 clue is 5, so that's yellow. One cell at a time at the moment. 10, 2, 22 here. If it was done in 3 cells, it would need a 9. Oh, the most that could be is a 7. 5, that can be a 5. 22 could be there. I just don't know quite how this is going to shake down. 7 could be 1 or 2 cells. Could it involve this cell? Yes, that could be red. This can't be the only grey cell in this row. At the beginning of this row, because it would have to be another 4. So grey probably continues to here. That must be in the second red before a grey. So the first red comes before this yellow and is either there or any of these 3. But the grey 4 is going to have to be within these 3 cells. It can't be just there because it would be a 3. So this one is grey and is part of a 4 sum, both vertically and horizontally. Either way around, that sum would have to be 1, 3. And it can't be 1, 3, because in this box you'd have to have 1, 3 vertically in either those cells or those cells, but you'd also have to have 1, 3 vertically in those cells or those cells. That would be too many 1s and 3s, so that is a 4. Right, that's yellow, that's yellow. This 16 sum can't start with more than 7. For that to be yellow, this goes 7, 4, 5. That's not grey, so it's red. We knew it was coloured from the total of this row. That's not grey. So the 3 grey has to be here at the top. Then that's grey. I think this also isn't grey, so that's the 5, and that's our 28 fulfilled at the top. Top row is done in terms of the coloured cells. Now, we've got grey 4, then red 7 in here. Red 6 within these cells and grey 9 within those two. That can't be... Yes, that could be grey on its own. This is a grey 7. Sorry, that's very clear. 11... Then we need a total of 5, which is either a single 5 or a 2-3 pair. Now this lot adds up to 20. 9, 8, 3 seems to be the only way to do that. Leaving 1 and 2 in the row, we get some uncoloured cells filled in. Now this 10 pair is not 7, 3 or 2, 8. It's 1, 9 or 4, 6. In this column 6 that comes after this 1 in grey is not now going to be able to be 1, 5, 2, 4 or 1, 2, 3. So it's a single 6. And there it is. That must be followed by a yellow cell and indeed preceded by it now. Then we've got a 7 underneath it. 4, 2, 1, 6. And that 7 also doesn't have a 3 cell or 2 cell makeup. So it's a single grey 7 in one of those cells. This is a 2 or a 3. We've got, in this row, we've got red 6 and 4. So that can't be grey. Does that mean it's red? It might well do. 8. We've got a total of 8 that includes that, which has to be a 3, therefore. This could be a 5 or not. There's probably some general Sudoku I'll be able to do in a minute. I'm getting enough digits to make that at least feasible now. 1, 5, 6. We've got red 6 and red 4. This is a 10 sum. This is in a 10 sum. Now, if that was red, this would be 2, 1, 7. That would have to be a 6, 4 pair. And the reds up here would add up to 8. That is not red. Probably it has to be grey. Because if that was the only grey cell here, that would be a 9 and that would break this 8 clue. So that's grey. Now we've got grey 8 at the end of this row. That can't be 2, 6 or 1, 7. Could it be a 3, 5 pair in these cells? I'm going to say no. In fact, I'm going to say that this has to be a 9. It's in 9 clues both down and across. And if it was the same double, if it was a pair down and across, if it wasn't a 9, it would need the same digit in those two cells. So it is a 9. That's yellow next to it now. That is now red. This is grey on its own and is 8. That is 14 as part of a 23 sum that carries on below. That's in a 9 sum in the row. That could in theory be grey now. This is in a 22 sum. This is in a 7 sum. Don't think I can be too precious about how that's made up at the moment. This can't be a 9 because it's in a 6 clue. And if it was a 1, that would be a 5, which would clash with the 5. So that's a red 6 on its own. That's yellow. This is now a 4 for the 10 sum. That's 1 or 3. This is red and is 2 or 4. I was hoping the box would prove which it was, and it didn't. This is part of a 10 sum, 3 or 1. It can't be 1 because that would be 2. So that's a 3, that's a 1. This is now 4 to complete this 10 sum. Okay, that 4 is on its own, so this is not, it's not red. That's a 6 by Sudoku. This is a 378 triple. Sudoku is my friend. That's a 5. That's a 1-2 pair. Across the other side of the grid, we've got a 6-8 pair. That's a 1-2 pair. This is a 5-9 pair. That 8 sum now needs that to be a 5. Then we do Sudoku on the other bits and bobs. This now can't be a 3, and it can't be a 2 because that would need a 3 to complete the 5 sum. So that's a 5, and that finishes off the 16 vertically. And it also finishes off 5 horizontally. Now we need 6 in red. Red is finished there. Red is going to have to continue here. Can that be red? It would be 2 or 3 by Sudoku, which would go with a 4 there. That would make, oh, we need 7 in red in those 2 cells. That's going to have to be a single 7 in red here. Oh, which is not quite symmetrical with that 6. The symmetry at last is broken. 22 is complete, so that's not red. 23, that's not red either, so this is the red 6. And I think all the red is done now. That's yellow. Okay, all the red is done. Now, this can't be grey in the row, so it's yellow. 5, 6, 4, and then either a single 9. Interestingly, with 4, 5, and 6 gone, it can't be a triple 9. So that is not in the 9. And in the row, it must be yellow, therefore. Now this is in a 22 sum looking downwards. That must be at least 3 cells. This is a low digit. 1, 2, or 3 in this row. Can't be a 4 or a 5. Oh, it can't be a 3 in the box as well. That's 1 or 2. Nine, 1, 5, 4, 6. That can't be a 4 anymore. 4, 2, 1, 6, 7. 3, 5, 8, 9. That seems to be 3 or 8 by the row, by the column, I mean. This one goes 5, 22, 3, 8, somewhere down in these two. 3, 23, 13 starts there and must be at least 2. The 7 and the 5. Red's all finished, isn't it? That is important. Okay, come on, let's keep thinking about this. I've suddenly realised I'm now terrified. Oh, this can't be a 7. The fact that there's a 7 there means that's a 7, doesn't it? In grey. Now, that's in the 7 sum going down, so that's yellow underneath it. Then we have a total of 3, which can't be 1, 2, and must be a single 3. That makes this unshaded cell an 8. That's a 3. That's an 8. Ooh, and there. And that isn't. 5, 6, 8, 4. This must be 7 in the row and is not shaded. We need 9 in grey. Now, I wonder if we can say that that is a single 9 now. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 9 left. Well, the other digits don't even add up to 9. So that is a single 9. That one's yellow. That column is finished. These aren't 2. In fact, we can fill them in. 1, 3, 2 there. Now, 3 is there. So I don't think 2 can be outside the 40. The outies are either now going to be a 1, 4 pair or a single 5. And they include this digit. So that's a 1. That can't be a 4, so that's the other outie, is a 4. All of these, very unsurprisingly, are grey. That is a 5, 8 pair. I've just seen I can do this 2, 1 up there, and this 2, 1. This is a 2, 9 pair that can be filled in. These digits are 4, 5, and 7, but I have to make up a 13 sum. That must be 2, 7, 4. And then we've got an extraneous 5 in yellow at the bottom. Here we have a 9 sum in grey. That's not a single 9. That's yellow. It's got to be 2 digits. There they are. Oh, this doesn't work. So I've gone wrong. The bottom row doesn't work now. Ah, everything was going very well. So that deduction must have started about here. This is in a 13. I said that was going to be 274. And this can't be in a sum more than 4. So I'm still going with that. 274 like that. Specifically. I mean, I'm just doubling down on what I did a moment ago. Now there is a 9 down here, and we've got 1, 2, 8 and 6 left. How is the 18 at the bottom going to work? Oh, 1, 8 could be a pair here. Why did I think that was grey? Because I thought it was below a 9 clue in this column, but I got that wrong. In fact, that 9 clue is the last thing in the column. Oh, those are all yellow. Oh, I'm so slow. Sorry, don't know what's wrong with me there. Right, that's yellow for this 7 clue. That is either a 1 or a 5 for the 5 clue. This is a 1, 4, 8 triple, but we've got another grey, which is 8 in one of those cells, so that's not 8. In this column, we've got 5, 9, 7, and the grey is a single 7. Which is in one of those two. It can't join up to that cell making a 9, so it's not there. It's here. That's the grey. I mean, I'm sure this is going to be... Yeah, that can't be grey, can it, in this column? It's very silly of me to think it could. That is the 8 there. And that's grey, and that's part of an 18 clue, which probably won't run to here. But we've got 2, 3, 6 left. In the column. That can't be a 6 for the row. Oh, goodness, I'm sure it's absolutely straightforward. I can fill in the 7 here, and a 2, 3 flanking pair. 4 in this column is there. I've got a 5 sum to finish with that starts here. That has got to be a single 5. Right, they're all yellow. Again, the symmetry is being maintained a bit. That is a 6, 8 pair. That's not my first 6, 8 pair that I haven't resolved yet. 1, 5, 9 triple, and we need a 22 sum starting with the 8. That's got to involve the 9 and a 5, and not the 1. So that's a 1 at the bottom. That is now a 3, as expected. 5 and 9 there. Those are yellow. That's the colouring complete, and we will have a look at what picture we've achieved shortly. 2 and 3. This is a 6 and 9. Then we've got a 1 here, 2 there, 3 and 8. That sorts out 6 and 8. This is now a 6, 2 pair. That's a 5, 9 pair. And 6 and 8 here should finish off. But before I do the last digit, let us colour. So we get rid of all the yellow. We turn the grey into black, which I am not prepared for here. Where do I get black from? I don't know how to do this. I always forget. Let's go brown for now. Then can't I double click on that and somehow find... I thought I could then find a palette somewhere. Is it down there? No. I cannot remember how to choose a new color in the software. So I'm going to have to go with the blackest thing I can. I'm sorry. I thought I would be able to do this, but I'm a muppet. Don't I hold down the color? Then there's somewhere I can go. Right, I'm going to just do it as brown. And now we have to picture that as black and the red as red. I don't know what the picture is. It is the correct solution. And this picture in a title of Power Up, how am I so bad at working out what these are? Looks a bit like a steering wheel. Right, I'm going to let my eyes glaze over. Cut out the bits of the puzzle. Sort of looks like someone in a flying helmet, or it's going to be so obvious that when you point out to me what this is a picture of in black and red, that I'm just going to kick myself hard. Power Up. I think Power Up might be just a pun on the title of Panthera's puzzle. Please tell me what that is a symbol or a picture of, because I am so bad at visual stuff that I cannot tell. No visual acuity here, but a very nice puzzle by the Asylum. And thank you very much for watching me solve the Sudoku part, if not understand the picture part. I'm sure it's excellent, and it has been every other time I've not been sure what the picture was of at the end. So thank you. We will see you again tomorrow for more Sudoku fun. Bye for now.